Ruchim aboim b'shem Hashem. What a great zchus it is that throughout the entire world, on virtually every continent, we are all united learning the Torah of the Heilige Zera Shimshon. Our shir is dedicated for a zchus and a refuah shalema for Yashar David ben Chanina, Miriam Devorah bas Esther, Rabbanit Simi Simcha bat Miriam, as zchus for the hostages, and Besuras Tavas, for Sarah Edel bas Elisheva Miriam. Our shir is on the words, Vayomer el Aaron, Kach lecha egel ben bakar lechatos. Take for yourself a young bull for a chatas. Rashi stresses that Aaron HaKohen brought a young bull for a chatas to make it known that Hashem was moichel Aaron for the cheto egel. If Rashi would have clearly written that Aaron brought the young bull to be mechaper for the egel azov, it could possibly suggest that Aaron had actually committed a sin, which he didn't. The Zera Shimshon explains that when Aaron got involved with the egel, Bnei Yisrael had already decided, let us make for ourselves a god, asher yelchu lefanenu. At that moment, it was already considered as if Bnei Yisrael had committed idolatry. The Gemara in Kiddushin Daf Mem tells us, Machshava ra'ah, ein HaKadosh Baruch Hu mitztarfa l'maisa. A bad thought, Hashem Yisparach does not combine it into a deed. If one merely thinks about committing a sin, it's not held against him. However, the Gemara says, if one thinks about committing idolatry, avodah zara, then it is considered as though he had actually been oved avodah zara. At this point, when Bnei Yisrael approached Aaron, they had only sinned with avodah zara in thought, but for thoughts alone, Bnei Yisrael wouldn't have felt the real need to do tshuva. If they would not do tshuva, then ultimately the Torah could not exist with them. Therefore, by actually making the egel, Aaron felt that Moshe Rabbeinu would return. Bnei Yisrael would then regret the Avera and do proper tshuva, thereby paving the way to be mekabel the Torah and to keep it. Rabbi Zalman Meltzer was the Rav of Slutsk and the Rosh Yeshiva of Yeshiva Eitz Chaim. When he would finish his shir every day, he would go home, and some of the Talmidim would follow him through Machne Yehuda. However, during a certain period of time, it was noted that he changed his minig, and he followed a different route. The Talmidim wanted to ask him, but they were too afraid. However, the Talmidim realized that the modification had to have a basis in Torah, so they persisted to ask him. Finally, he answered, the last time that he went through the shuk, he noticed an abundance of summer fruits on the shelves, peaches, plums, they were all beautifully ripe. At that moment, he recalled the Gemara of Bava Metzia, Daf Kuv Zayin. It says that a person shouldn't pass through his friend's fields when the crops are fully grown. Why? To prevent the influence of Ayin Hara. Therefore, Rabbi Yisur Zalman decided to change his path on the way home. If the great tzaddik, Rabbi Yisur Zalman Meltzer, had to exercise caution concerning his thoughts, Kal v'chomer, how much more so should all of us be very careful in all of our machshavos. Be'ez Hashem Yisparach, we will be continuing with our shir in the Zera Shimshon. I wish everyone may umke de liba, b'suros tavas, yeshuos v'nechamos.